Hey guys, it's Kristen and Bethany here with Girl Defined Ministries, and in today's vlog, we're gonna be unpacking a crucial and serious issue that we need to talk about in this modern day and age. So today's post is called 3 Ways Porn Deceives Girls About Their Sexuality. Some of you may remember a post from a couple months ago, I guess, where Kristen and I shared our stories about our modeling journey. So Kristen kind of dabbled in the modeling industry a little bit, and I had some interviews and decided not to go down that specific road. But I did have an interview that I learned a very kind of like shocking and important lesson from.
It was eye-opening.
Very, very, very eye-opening. And so I'm going to kind of jump into the point. So watch that old post to hear the entire story. But I was sitting across from this modeling agent owner, Jeff, and he was sitting across from the desk from me. And I had decided at that point that I did not want to pursue a modeling career. And a lot of that came down to Jeff's words and what he told me during this interview. And when I told Jeff that I wasn't interested in taking the job and I wasn't interested in becoming one of his models, basically, he looked at me and said that if I wanted to be successful and if I wanted to take advantage of these opportunities and become like a real woman, basically, he said that I needed to be willing to strip down for the camera. And he said, he looked across at me and he was like, young lady, if you want to be confident and comfortable in your own skin, then you need to be able to strip down in front of the camera. And when you do that, then come back and we can talk. And that was basically the gist of his message, that if I wanted to be a confident, comfortable girl in my own skin and confident in my sexuality, that I would need to strip down for the camera because that's normal, that's natural, that's what everyone does. It's not a big deal. And if I'm not willing to do that, then I just needed to get out of there. And sitting there across from him, I was like, wow, okay, I guess this just isn't for me, but it was very eye-opening. So I left that day with a ton to think about. And I remember when you came home and shared that story with me, just the interview that you had with Jeff, I was honestly shocked too. But then as you thought about it, as we both thought about it a little bit more, we really realized that that message of your sexuality is public, it's for everyone to see, it doesn't matter, stripping down for the camera, nudity, no big deal. That message is really the prevailing message that we hear, that we see in our society today. Totally. So you don't have to be in a modeling interview hearing from the agency owner telling you these things. You can walk through the grocery store, see the magazines, the movies, online, the pressure for sexting. I mean, all of these things are telling us that, hey, your body's your own. Live it up. Show it off. No big deal. And the porn industry is one that is exploding right now. And that message is obviously the prevailing message that we see and hear from the porn industry. And so this is a problem. We are not excited about this as women, as girls. We find this offensive. And in this vlog, we want to talk about why that's a lie, why that's deceptive. And we want to give you 3 specific ways that porn is deceiving us as girls today. We want to give you 3 specific ways that the porn industry is deceiving us as girls about our sexuality. Number 1, you are only as valuable as your body. Now that is a huge lie that we see. And here's how we see it. Because when you look at the porn industry as a whole, what is it made up of? It's made up of primarily young, beautiful women. Do you see any older, seasoned women that are in the porn industry? No, they might be on like the other side of it, but the women working in the industry in front of the cameras are young, beautiful women. So what happens when we as women may see something like this, we see that and think, oh, that's what beauty is. That's what valuable women are. That's what they look like. Oh, so we compare ourselves and guess what? 99% of the time, we're not going to measure up to these perfectly airbrushed, perfect camera angles type of women. It's not going to happen. So the porn industry is sending us this message that we as women are only as valuable as our body is beautiful. And once we're not beautiful anymore, we're discarded. The porn industry is a revolving door of young, beautiful women out. And once they're not deemed beautiful anymore, guess what? They have no more need for them. And when we see this as women, we need to recognize that's a lie. Our value as women is not determined on our outward appearance. It's not determined on how flawless our skin or face is. Our value comes from God. So first and foremost, we need to recognize the lie that we are way more valuable than our outward appearance, that is not where our worth is based. And the second way that porn is deceiving us is by promoting the message that nudity is common and cheap. As young women living in this modern age, it's no secret that nudity, like we've been saying, has become very common and very cheap. Pornography has really promoted this idea amongst young women and women in today's day and age that our nudity is no big deal, that it's common, it's cheap, we should be willing to flaunt it off, it's hot, it's sexy, show it off. You don't need to keep it sacred, you don't need to keep it hidden, there's nothing private, there's nothing private about it. You know, if a guy asks you for a nude photo, send it to him, what's the big deal? girl. It's to be, come on, celebrated in the public, show it off to anyone. And we as young women start to feel like, okay, is there anything sacred or special about my design as a woman? Should I
about
really,
my body?
Yeah, about my body. Should I really just show it off for anyone who wants to see it? And what we really want to encourage ourselves in and to remind young women and women of is that God designed our bodies to be insanely beautiful. He had a perfect and beautiful design for us. And he wants us to actually celebrate the beauty of his design within the right context. And that context is within marriage, to show off our bodies in that context. But it is not to be shown off in the general public for any guy that asks you for a nude photo. And so we need to get back to God's design and say, wow, God, you as the designer created me to have this sacred, beautiful body. You have an incredible design for my nudity. And if you can understand that, you actually look at yourself and say, wow, I am valuable because of the way God designed me. And I don't need to show it off to the public in order to realize that. And so we just encourage you to get back to God's design and say, wow, God, you are the creator of me, and you created with me with a beautiful, sacred design that I want to celebrate within the right context.
And the last lie that we want to talk about, the last way that porn is deceiving us as women, is that it tells us that it's empowering to be objectified, that it's empowering to be viewed as an object. Now, this is a very deceptive lie, because it's not something you'll see at first glance. And in fact, when I've done research and talked to people, they'll say, and I've even received emails from girls saying, okay, well, showing off your body is empowering. I mean, that's our sexuality. We should embrace it. But in fact, what happens when we look at the porn industry is there are these women who are valuable and precious in God's sight. They have so much value to him, but they are being viewed as objects for men to consume. They're being sold. I mean, a lot of porn
to be purchased.
A lot of money. Our bodies become a consumable commodity to be purchased. And there is honestly nothing more demeaning or objectifying to a woman than placing her up and saying, we're going to pay to view this woman. I mean, how objectifying is that? But we're deceived into thinking that somehow this is glamorous, that this is empowering, when in fact it's not. It is so demeaning. And we as women, unless we get back to God's beautiful design for us and say, you know what? I am not an object to be consumed. I am a woman with value, dignity, and worth. And rather than embracing this lie that my body is where my worth is, that being objectified is somehow empowering, I'm going to reject that and instead say, God, thank you for making me a beautiful woman. Would you help me to embrace my worth and my value in your sight and to live as a beautiful daughter of the King rather than an object to be consumed? Girls, porn is dangerous, deceptive, and so demeaning to women. And we just hope, as you've watched this video, that you've seen a few of the lies that maybe you've been believing, or maybe friends that you know have been believing. And we just want to challenge you, encourage you to not be deceived anymore, but instead reject these lies, because they're not God's best for us. God has a beautiful design for us as women. And we're going to link, we know this is a heavy topic, we're going to link to a few other posts and videos that we've done below so that you can continue digging into God's beautiful design for our lives as women.
Now, if this is something that you are personally struggling with and you're sitting there thinking, great, but I need help, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, I've never even told anyone about my struggle with porn, we want to recommend a book wholeheartedly that is just incredible called Finally Free by Heath Lambert. We're going to link to it below, and we really recommend grabbing a copy of this book, getting your hands on it, and digging it into it, because it really will help you get the tools you need to find that freedom. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from us, you can subscribe to our channel below, because we post new videos every Wednesday.
I feel like there's so much pressure.
Okay, come back! You did really good!
You got it, girl.
Okay.
We don't, no, we see women.
And, oh, that's gonna be terrible.
I've got to keep this short. I'm getting too long-winded. Okay.
You are. That porn is deceiving us is,
Got it. We are sweating because it's a very serious topic.
I got the revolving door. Well, yeah, but you kind of messed it up. Of young women out, and then you meant to say of young women coming in and older women going out.
Oh, I hope my closing word makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Porn is deceptive.
It does.
Okay.
Okay. And we can just look.
If you like this video and you appreciate the kind of content that we're producing here on this Girl Defined YouTube channel, then we just want to invite you to come on over and support our channel by joining us, by linking arms with us on patreon.com. Over on Patreon, you can just give $1, $2, $3 a video just to say, hey, I back this channel, I like what they're doing, and I want to support them and help them to continue doing that. So if that would interest you, we'd love to invite you on over to Patreon. You can just click the link below.